Welcome to the Bluestocking Circle podcast, Lady Nerds on Popular Culture. We're your hosts, B.
Gricel.
And Kat.
This is Minisode 35.5, Follow-Up and First Impressions. It's our 3rd anniversary!
Yay!
Yay!
We've been through so much these last 3 years: pandemics, hurricanes, graduations, departures into the West, new jobs, new co-hosts, new hosting services, new babies. And at least for me, this podcast has been a wonderfully comforting presence throughout these turbulent times. So I want to thank you, Gricel and Kat, for going on this journey with me. And also thanks to Ashley, Monica, Lorian, and Amanda for joining us along the way. And to you listeners for sticking with us all throughout this time. Thank you. Here's to many more years with the Bluestockings, but hopefully in calmer circumstances.
Well, I think that was perfectly said, and I'm happy to be a part of it. So thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us on this madness.
This crazy adventure.
I have some further follow-up from episode 30, The Secret Garden. This has come about as a result of the new movie, which was supposed to come out earlier this year in theaters. Obviously, that did not happen, so it was released in streaming form. Because of this new movie, a lot of people have actually gone back to the 1993 movie to revisit it. And some of the amazing articles that have come out of this revisiting include Vulture's 2-part series so far as of this recording, one interviewing the director Agnieszka Holland, and another interviewing Kate Maberly, who plays Mary Lennox. Both of these articles have been amazing. I especially liked the Kate Maberly interview because she is now a writer living in Switzerland for the duration of the quarantine, so basically she is living my entire dream life from childhood to adulthood. I shared the article with both of you. Did either of you read it?
I went through it a
I
little bit.
did. I thought it was really good. It was really interesting reading about her experiences since it was her first ever movie, and she had seemingly a really good experience. And I always find it heartening to read or hear about child stars who have had good, pleasant experiences and grow up to be seemingly well-rounded, healthy adults. So she fits the bill, and she indeed seems to be living a very nice life now.
If I recall, that was her only movie, right?
I think she was in some like TV shows, but
I think
yeah,
her
I don't think
stint
she
in
was
Hollywood
in.
was just pretty brief, so I guess she wasn't
Yeah,
damaged by it as others have been.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was a very charming interview. It seemed like a really fun movie to make.
I will also note that many of the articles have pointed out that the love triangle was intentional, despite the protest of you and Monica Katz.
I did see she mentions that in the interview that it's a baby love triangle, so I will begrudgingly accept that.
Going back to our previous episode, Kat, did you continue watching Gravity Falls?
Yes, I did. I haven't watched every single episode, but following some of your recommendations, I managed to watch a good amount from the second season, including the last 5 or so episodes. So I did see the ending, which I thought was great. I loved it.
Excellent. It is one of the best endings of any series, isn't it?
I have to agree. I thought it was really well done. I liked that everything was actually able to come to a resolution. And nothing was really left hanging. All of the characters had a nice ending. There was a lot of really sweet sibling love. And all of the characters, including the townspeople, sort of became more developed as well. So that was nice.
Did it fix some of those earlier issues you had with the series, as we discussed in that episode?
Yes, definitely. Especially concerning Mabel's character. I have to agree with you. Her whole later season arc of, not wanting to grow up or fearing the distance between her and Dipper as they enter high school was very relatable, and I thought was handled really well. And I don't often see that kind of done in those types of kids shows, so I thought it was nice and a needed sort of storyline.
Glad to hear. Would you like to revise your sock rating? It was a 3.5, if you recall.
I think you're just trying to get a higher sock rating overall.
Yeah.
I am absolutely trying to get a higher sock rating overall to balance out someone's one sock rating.
This is trickery.
I think
trickery and coercion.
I'm going to stick with a 3.5 for now. I feel like sometimes I need time to digest something. So I really liked it and enjoyed it, but I'm not ready to give it that extra little bump yet. I need to sit with it for a while.
Alas.
But I do have an additional recommendation. It's another video game. I did find the whole ending and resolution of Gravity Falls to be very reminiscent of a boss battle in a video game, so it seems fitting to have multiple video game recommendations.
That is accurate.
Yeah, it's like very influenced by video games, I would say, and especially adventure style games, which are my favorite. And I've been playing a new one. It's the newest Paper Mario game. Have you ever played any Paper Mario?
Oh, back in the day, the first one, I think.
Ah, okay. Well, there's a new one for the Switch, and it's so far been really fun. It's all about a sort of strange cult-like leader who is turning all of the paper creations into folded origami mindless soldiers. So there's like a weird undertone to it. And it's also surprisingly dark in some ways. So it reminded me of Gravity Falls because I was just like not expecting that from my Paper Mario game. There was even a character who sacrifices themselves and dies in the video game in a very unexpected way, and it actually like made me emotional. I was just like, what is happening? I'm just trying to play a fun game and now I'm sad.
Is Nintendo okay? Has anyone checked on them?
It was like really a lot, but I sort of appreciated it, I guess, just because I'm in a weird place. So, anyways, I definitely highly recommend it. And the little companion that Mario has in this game is a little origami friend who at first I found annoyingly chipper. But after watching Gravity Falls, I kept hearing Mabel's voice in the video game and then imagining Mabel's sort of like optimism in this folded origami character made me like it more. So now I don't get annoyed when she offers me suggestions.
I would like to say I'm glad to hear that, but that is frankly very disturbing sounding.
It's strange, but it's really fun.
Well, Kat, you've been catching up on your video games. Have you been catching up on your reading?
I have not. I have been extremely lax in my reading. I would say that since March, I have maybe finished 3 books, not including the Babysitter's Club books, which took me like half an hour to read. So that's very unusual for me. It's been difficult to give my attention to books recently. So sadly, I have not caught up. I apologize.
No need to apologize. I think a lot of us are finding it difficult to engage in our usual hobbies these days. I've only just got back into the rhythm of my writing after basically 5 months of staring at the screen.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're back, and I hope that soon I will join the world of reading again.
So for now, we'll skip Cat Catches Up and we'll go straight into first impressions.
Next time, we'll be taking the nostalgia train to the Disney of yore with one of my favorite films. Yes, to this day, the 1977 live-action Jodie Foster classic, Candleshoe. B, I've probably mentioned this movie as many times as you've mentioned Gravity Falls during our off-the-pod conversations, but you've never seen this film. As our newbie, what do you think you're in for?
I have purposely avoided learning about this movie despite all your many, many mentions because I wanted as fresh a first impression as possible, knowing we would cover it on the podcast one day, and it is this day. I do know the movie is about orphans, or at least one orphan. There's an English manor, I think, and it's based on a novel, Christmas at Candleshoe, which I only know because I remember us debating whether we should cover the movie in December instead of sticking with our usual Jane Austen December theme. But obviously, Lady Jane won, which is why we're covering Candleshoe in September. But that's it. That's all I know.
I think September is just as appropriate as December as far as seasons go. Doing some of my own research, I did confirm that it is very loosely based on the novel, in that it features some of the most basic elements of both the setting and the plot. But fans of the movie say that we aren't really missing anything if we don't read the novel. Plus, copies are rare, and the most recent priced listing on Amazon was $255 for a hardcover that looked just okay-ish. And considering that I only paid $15 for a nearly pristine first edition of I Capture the Castle, this was not happening. And I am slightly hopeful that I think Candleshoe maybe meets the Venn diagram requirements for a Gricel/B movie. I am hopeful and optimistic.
Orphancore.
It is orphancore. And I think it has other elements of things that I know you're into, but I am not going to be too hopeful because I also thought you would like I Capture the Castle. So my optimism is very tiny.
If it has a Stephen and maybe a murder, I'll be a happy girl.
It does not have any romance.
There's a plus.
And I didn't hear a no on murder, so
There's no murder per se, but it is in the mystery genre.
All right, that sounds promising.
I'll keep my excitement low. So fetch yourself some rice pudding and a nice squashy plum and join us as we head to Candleshoe. Episode 36, Candleshoe, will be released on September 1st. In the meantime, you may find us at thebluestockingcircle.com and on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Pinterest, and pretty much everywhere at BlueSockCircle. That's Blue, SOX, Circle. Email us at thebluestockingcircle@gmail.com to join the conversation. We are also available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and YouTube, so please rate, review, and subscribe to help us grow.
Cheers! I'm going to have to cut all that out so as not to spoil things.
Oh, yeah, sorry.